Abayizi okuva ku University kulu Makerere olunaku lwaleero balumbye ekitebe kya National Platform Lwa Njala basuseeko okuba nga tulina bye balya era nga bino ebigambo bibogedde katubifune.
So ladies and gentlemen, as I was saying, we Makerere students, we are very hungry. And I want to say that we've been pushed onto the wall since the semester began. We have been adequately given onto our allowances. This is not really working onto us, the government students. Now, this cry that we are putting out, we are calling upon organizations there, people there, to come and hear out our cry. I want to take this opportunity to thank Mr. President for hearing out our cry. We don't take it for granted. Not all have been given the opportunity. Yeah, I want to go back into the statistics of how much we've been receiving since the semester began for those students that stay inside or outside. But I want to say that we need your help, and we call upon the government to do its best to put out our grievances. And thank you for hearing us. Thank you for providing to us. We are very grateful.
All those words are of a minister in Makerere University. So it means that that is how truthful it is. The students of Makerere are hungry and angered for not fulfilling the obligations of government. But don't you worry, I know it may be after you have left, but we are sure in the government of the National Unity Platform, things will always be moving in the trajectory that we desire, all of us. Let me invite, come and say something, Doctor.
Mr. President, the Secretary General, our leaders and students, good afternoon to you all. I understand you're very hungry and I'm not going to take a lot of your time. People power! Power. People power! Power. Ladies and gentlemen, I stand before you as a former guild president of the Ivory Tower, the magnificent Makerere University. And I'm not new to the challenges that you expressed today. I was personally a government student. So I have gone through such times, and I want to tell you that there is a time we even striked at night because our recess allowances had not come through. So you're not the first, but I just hope that maybe you're the last. I want to remind you that during the time of the bad Idi Amin, all students that went to Makerere studied for free. They didn't pay money. They were given food. They were given allowances. They were given books in the library. But during the good times of the current regime, that is compared to the regime of the Amins, we have what we have here today. Am I communicating? Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to assure you that we are with you. We support you as former leaders. We stand with you. We understand your cry, and I want to in a special way to appreciate our party for coming through to help the distressed Makerere students. Because having to read, having to use your brain, I think the brain uses the most amount of glucose, but I really wonder if you're really passing those tests. I really wonder if you're, please let us remain in line. And I know that we are very hungry, and I want to send out a message to the people that are in charge. If someone is expected to receive 700 plus thousand or 500 something, why would you give them 92,000? There is a belief that the office in charge could be using that money maybe to first make something, then they will give you the profits. And we know these things, we know these things, we know who is in charge of these things. You know the buses office, and we support you. That money is there. They have the money. If they can give musicians billions of money, why shouldn't they give the future of this country the money that they deserve to eat? Ladies and gentlemen, we are with you. We support you. Please continue to fight. Do not stop fighting. We have been threatened. I know that the DPC called some of you this morning, and that's why you're not here. But wherever you are, we stand with you. Mr. DPC, these are your children that you want to survive on hungry stomachs. Yet they studied to make it to the university on government scholarship. And they were promised things. We have a contractual agreement with the people that admitted you to the university. They're supposed to provide these things for you. So we stand with you, we support you, continue to fight. The little support that is provided here, I do believe that it can do something, but do not relent. Continue to fight, your money is there, someone is sitting on it, and the more you press, they are going to release that money. People power, our power. Thank you very much.
Indeed, you are a true friend. Have it on your fingertips. Let us invite, I think these three can come at once. Mr. Otuke Isaac, our NUP. Otule. Yes, Mr. Otule. Mr. Wandukwa Simon, and then Mr. Churchill. Just he'll be the highlight.
Makerere Enupa People Power Echaburanya Efood Ewinning Losing Z Haga Z Administration Z. Hello, the president, the legitimate president of Uganda, our dear Secretary General, the party leadership, student leaders, and everyone around. We welcome you to this place. But before I take this great opportunity, as one of the leaders of the NUP interim chapter, to thank our dear president for having listened to our cry. The day we came here to write, very many students were crying in Makerere University over hunger. We had nothing to do. We helped those we could, but we couldn't help everyone. We wrote to the president, he welcomed us. We talked to him, and he said he will give some help to the few, and that's what he has done. Mr. President, I'm here to inform you that back in the days, being on government was a pleasure. It was something that everyone wished to be. But today, to the current students of Makerere, it has become a disgrace. If they're on government, they don't give them their allowances. Even parents are well convinced that the government is giving them money, so they don't give them upkeep. Today as I speak, people are starving. But I want to assure Mr. President, this is very unfortunate. We don't wish to see our fellow students starving today. We don't wish to see them committing suicide, because when you add anger to examination stress, it equals to death. And yet we are going for our examinations. Mr. President, the day we left here, the DPS of Wandegea, Afande Hassan, called all the Mugosa leaders who came here. He told them, we are going to arrest you, we are going to suspend you. And very many of them got intimidated. He just said that because they're mobilizing for people to come and get food. But I want to assure you, Mr. DPC, we are ready to die of bullets, but we shall not die of hunger. Back to my fellow students. These are the times that we need to stand as the youths of this country. These are the times that we need to know that everything concerns us. When we had the fees policy, some government students were like, I don't pay tuition, the government pays for me. They shied away. Today we're on government, today she's on the government side. Very many private students are like, it's not about me. But I want to assure you, everyone will test on the pain, on the tears of this government. I want to assure you, this is the time that we need to stand, that we need to revive the Makerere that existed, that when one student missed an examination, all the rest never did that examination. But I want to assure you, even me speaking, I missed an examination over tuition. Just because we have lost it. Where have we gone wrong? Why don't we have those solid leaders, the current aspirants, Where did the Makerere leadership go? Where did the revolutionaries go? Where did the Musiris of today? It's time that...
Hello. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Wandukwa Simon. I am a third-year law student and removed food from halls of residence amidst the strong opposition from the Education Committee of Parliament, and they scrapped off that privilege of food. And from that time, students are dying in their small rooms in Chikumi, and in halls of residence. Students are surviving on cassava and water, and yet they're supposed to be in classes, concentrated and reading. The Nawangwe administration and its policies do not have any empathy on students. All they want is to reduce a university to a go to class and back to your room kind of thing. This is a university, for God's sake. We have had many times when this university comes out to shut down students whenever they have genuine concerns. When the former guild president, Nambasa, was president, she led a team of students to strike for their rights. And I want to tell you, gallant Makererians here, that whereas the NUP, the national platform here, has given us food in form of rice and posho, I want to implore you, I am not part of those that are going to keep lamenting on several other organizations calling out for food. I want to call upon you, let us get back. Suspend you alone. Everyone keeps quiet. When Bossa Price was suspended alone, everyone kept quiet. You know, when I was suspended with a group of few others like Odama there, the rest of you kept quiet. But when Ambassa was suspended with a group of 15, all of them were restated. Now, Nawangwe does not have capacity to suspend all of you in thousands. For God's sake, you are over 5,000 government students. And I want to call upon you that as we are here lamenting about the food problem and challenge in Makerere University, I know we have done our part as government students. We have always come out on the street to raise our voices, but there are more problems concerning government students. Recently, they have cut the number of government students from over 5,000 to 3,000. There was a policy that was passed on the floor of Parliament to increase the allowances from 4,500 to 10,000. It was still cut down by the cabinet of Mr. Museveni. Now, these are things we're talking about and a reality in this country. When we talk about these things, many of you think we're politicizing, but the challenges of government students is real. Get back on streets, put on your red gowns whenever you're oppressed, and demand for your rights. Thank you very much. Makerere Road. Makerere Road. The fighting on. The fighting on. Intimidation is easy. Intimidation is easy. And I want to see. Ra. Cha. Hello. People power. Our power. We. I say you. Pathetic leaders, a sympathetic government, Okuchiko, a administration Z, a losing Z, a hunger Z, a serving Z, a winning goal. Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the Republic of Uganda, the Secretary General of the ruling political party, Mr. Treasurer, Minister in charge of Youth Affairs, all esteemed leaders present, Last Makererians, a good afternoon to you all. My name is Senator Muchachil James, a son of the land. I would like to join you to present our plea to the President. Mr. President, sir, this is just a preamble of the pain and hunger inside the great walls of Makerere. Many students were intimidated from coming, many were demoralized, many were intimidated about suspensions and all what's not. However, in the Duran, ladies and gentlemen, you that are here, I do representation of those that have decided to stand with what you believe is right. The DPC made few calls yesterday. I, for one, received the call. I was told not to indulge myself in things that do not concern me, but I strongly believe I and Makerere students are as one. Whether or not a government student, what affects a girl Makerere and affects us as one. We are here in unison to extend our cry to you, the President of the National Unity Platform, and to other donors. We are very much aware that a bigger population of people would have been here if it weren't for certain circumstances. Ladies and gentlemen, we have had a history of draconian policies being instigated by the current administration. And Mr. President normally said, a great writer once said that every generation has its mission, and it is upon that generation to betray or fulfill that mission. God's Makererians will have a mission to see that these draconian policies come to an end. You do not need a leader. You don't need a leader to show you direction. However, it is self-instigated. It is self-propagated. I strongly believe you that are here is a true representation of what you believe in. And if you really have to stand for the truth, you better be ready to stand alone. I would like to conclude by saying that the great question of the day shall not be answered by the speeches of the nobles, but by blood and iron. Let's get that blood and iron out. Let's go there and let's fight to what's right the iron.
You know, when somebody quotes Otto von Bismarck at this time, I'm encouraged and inspired. Thank you very much, Churchill. You've made my day. You have spoken, and I am grateful that you got the time, Churchill. Thank you. They took the time. Musiri.
Thank you, Deputy Spokesperson, the mighty party, National Unity Platform, Mr. President, Revolutionary President, His Excellency Robert Kavule, aka Bobby Y. I like saying that out. Secretary General and former Speaker, Makerere University, and former President of Law Society at Makerere. My brother, I call him my brother because I love him so much, Benjamin Katana. He loves the institutions, the students at large, and he's our treasurer. Thank you so much. Zake Zevuge, our Commissioner of Parliament. You know you are the Commissioner, the legitimate one. Yes, I made it. That's why I assert it assertively. Madam President, you know, once a president at Makerere, you die a president, you know that. Nambasa, Shamim Nambasa, and the gallant comrades. First of all, it is not about only government students from Makerere University alone, Mr. President. We have the representation of government students from Chambogo University. Please stand up and the President sees you around. People power! Our power! Our power! People power! He's alone because right now as we speak, government students of Chambogo University have an industrial action. They are currently striking, they are on the streets. Therefore, those of us that are here, it's just as late as yesterday. As Churchill and colleagues have said, please out your gowns, iron them, and you know how we do it. You know the practice, you know the culture of Makerere University. Mr. President, I just want to remind these young men, because of time, about our times. You know, you sang some nice song. Of course, all your songs are nice. The lyrics are nice. But you said that people want to go to heaven, but they don't want to die. I don't know whether people think about them. Think about the lyrics, apart from just dancing themselves around the lyrics. Therefore, I want to empower young men of the Hill currently, that some of us were suspended, not even once, not even twice, but we still stayed firm and we stood firm. I want to tell you that I was suspended 4 times. I won a scholarship from the Chinese embassy. It was scrapped off during the Christmas fall that I led with colleagues. Mr. President, when impasses like now come, when people are hungry, they forget that they have a duty to fight. I want to thank you, Mr. President. The day we came to Makerere, you named me after a giant on the continent Africa called Stephen Biko Bantu. It was yesterday that you called me the same name. And by calling me Stephen Biko, I knew it was His Excellency Robert Sentamu Kyagulanyi calling, no other. We shall not go into the details of how and what happened on Stephen Biko Bantu. But that's why I want to empower you young men. I want to guide you that scholarship, you was shivering around, saying I can't lose it. I can't do what is best. I can't do my duty. It's nothing. I want to tell you that I have colleagues that have gotten first-class degrees, but rotting in the villages because of unemployment. I am telling you that you students, you must know your role, that you are the catalyst of change in the revolution. I want to thank those of you that have come out amidst the intimidation. Well, you are not even intimidated. Mr. President, the man they are talking about, Matene, who is lending money to your students, our brothers and sisters, is a former emperor of Lumumba. But as we speak now, he's also a coward. He used to stand, but now he's a coward and is being used. We do not know his sources. And I want to tell you, Mr. President, that these people have not yet faced the wrath of the management. But when we stood firm with those of Obediju, Konkboth, Darmel, at one time, Professor Barnabas Nawangu was a coward to us. That every day we would stand, he would be on the next plane to Russia. Can't you be like us? I want to remind you, I wasn't acting in any capacity. I was only the class rep of my course that was about to be even scrapped off. Just a class rep intimidating a vice chancellor. At one time, we got them in the main building. They started urinating. Vice professors, because these are not professors, these are mafias, acting on behalf of the tyranny to squeeze you, because they know if you stand and just
do what you're supposed to do, you can change this government. You are the only way, I mean you students, for our president, His Excellency, Robert Sentamu Chaplain, to become the next president. Because he's a legitimate president that we voted in 2021. Who doesn't know that? But because we were sleeping on job, that's why he's not in the State House. Can you rise up? It's beyond just government students. Because I can tell you, I can tell you that all institutions are under attack. They are all under siege. We have seen a lot of draconian policies everywhere. And Mr. President, lastly, this is how they compromise these students. While we were fighting and struggling in Fismas Fall, during the draconian policy that necessitates the 15% tuition increment for graduate 5 years, some of the leaders were compromised by just, now one can go to the climax, to the extreme of just bribing a student by getting what they want. There is one friend of ours who said he wanted to sleep with a white woman. I am telling you, Professor now Barnabas Nawanga got a white woman for that guy. There are those that were compromised for just on the bed space, and you know them. But when we stood, for example, Papa Were, we taught him a lesson. We taught him a lesson. Can you stand up? Gallant Makerere, gallant combatants of Makerere, can you stand up and teach somebody a lesson? It is time now or never for God and my country.
Thank you, Steve Biko of Uganda. That was powerful. Comrade Dike.
People power, our power, Makerere. I know you're hungry, so I will not take a lot of time. Gallant but hungry intellectuals. This is a sweet but bitter moment. Sweet in a sense that we get share in friendship and comradeship, but bitter that you're hungry. And your hunger is not on account of government's inability to take care of you, but because you are not a priority of government. Every day you see headlines of billions of money given away because the priority of the rich. If you want to build a country, you invest in building the future. How do you invest in building for the future? You know the motto of Makerere, build for the future, by prioritizing education. But because education is not a priority, because we are not dealing with statesmen who are interested in the future, but we are dealing with people that are interested in regime survival, the money that should have fed you, because it is your right, because you fulfilled your side of the bargain and excelled in exams, that money is used by the regime of Museveni to rent support. And if someone does not treat you as a priority, then you should also not treat them as what? As a priority. Every day we see ridiculous statements coming from Makerere University suspending students. But you know what that means? It means that Nawangwe and the administration have chosen to be agents of oppression. But the bigger problem is not the agents, but the master of the agents, who is oppression personified, Museveni. Where there is his name, you can replace it with oppression. And oppression, wherever it exists, the only medicine for oppression is resistance. But if you listen to intimidation from a mere DPC, you listen to intimidation from Nawangwe and others that work with him, you are enabling him to perform his job of being an agent of oppression effectively. You are empowering him. The only way you can stop that oppression is by standing up to be counted. Your hunger has a relationship with the person who is now dying in hospital because there is no medicine and the doctor has not been paid to perform their duty. When a regime loses legitimacy, it now concentrates on two things: violence and buying support. So the money that should have taken care of you, the money that should have worked in the hospitals, the money that should have enabled your parents to access medical care, that should have enabled roads to be worked on, is being used by Museveni to facilitate his political machinery. So from today you should know that your enemy, the reason why you're hungry, the reason why the side of government has not been fulfilled is not because of Nawangwe. Nawangwe is just an agent of an oppressive and parasitic system of Museveni, which you must stand up and fight. Thank you very much.
The Secretary General.
Temuyina manyi wanange, and understandably so. People power. Our power. People power. Yeah, thank you so much, Mr. President and fellow leaders. The words of Comrade Otule, that injustice against one is injustice against all. And he clearly said that when it came to private students, government students said this does not concern us. Today it is government students and private students are saying this does not concern us. When Makerere is being oppressed, Chambogo says this is not about Chambogo. When Chambogo is being oppressed, Makerere does not speak out. But we eventually realize that we are all caught up in this web of injustice in this our country. I was listening to your leaders the other day and they told me that some female students have been forced to go into what? Because they are hungry and they are starving. How can Makerere students be allowed to go? This one is calling them sleepovers, but they are not really sleepovers. It is terrible. So we must all rise up and resist injustice and impunity. Like my brother Benjamin said, all that is happening is not because the government does not have money. They have more than necessary, but you people are not a priority to them. And yet we are singing that we build for the future, the great Makerere. How can you build for the future when students are hungry and they are starving? And when they rise up to speak, I saw these comrades from Chambogo the other day being picked up like grasshoppers. Right now as you are coming in, I saw police guys here trying to stop you. And the DPC saying you should not come to Kavule because Kavule is going to give you food. I even saw some propaganda which they had put out there to say that NUP has cancelled this event. That we needed permission from police, we did not get it, therefore the event has been cancelled because they're trying to frustrate you in that regard. So, ladies and gentlemen, we need to understand what is going on in this country. For us as a national unity platform, we believe in investing in the future of our country. That is why our main priority is healthcare and education. And I can tell you, the day our president sits in that state house, which legitimately would belong to him even right now, the things we are going to focus on, most importantly, are education and healthcare. Why? Because if you invest in the people, you are investing in the future of your country. That is what we believe in. That is what we believe in as the National Unity Platform. It is very unfortunate. I even saw a headline the other day. They were saying that very soon they are going to scrap government scholarship. Instead of increasing, they are just trying to reduce. And that is what they want to do. They want to scrap government scholarship. And what will happen to that money, you know what has been going on. We lose over 10 trillion shillings in corruption every single year. Other countries are even having free university education for all students. But here, even the few who are on government scholarship, they are not giving you allowances on time, and they are even contemplating removing all that. So, I think the most important call today is rise up and defend your rights. Rise up and fight for a better country. Someone was even telling me yesterday that some government students, the little money you get, you send some of it at home. Because your parents are what? Are poor. So you can see that the problem is not only is going to send me some money and I take the siblings of this one to school. So stop looking at this as your own problem. Look at it as a national problem and let us fight to resolve it. Without wasting any other time, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to allow you to allow
kale byebyo okuva ku kitebe kya National Unity Platform n'abayizi b'e Makerere abazze okwanya ensonga zaabwe obulumi bwe balina okubanga balina okubanga baweebwa emmere gye balya naye nga tebakyabawa olw'ensonga eno baneeri abakuwagirano za Kyagulanyi Ssentamu Robert Bobwell Yoweri Museveni awulira bubi agezaako bateeka ku bulumi basobole okuva ku Kyagulanyi okuva ku National Platform babire nga bawagira ekibiina kye ekya NRM era babe nga bakkirizayo nga batambula mu nkwawaze nga ye bwali nti ayagala nnyo okulanga buli omu beega buli omu musabiriza nga ali wansi we nga alina kumuvunamira ye bw'ate bw'aloota byayagala ne baira bayizi baze ne balaga solidarity nti bo baagala kuba nga bali independent. Mukama bakuume mwerabu.